Welcome back. Couldn't get enough of mainframes, could ya? I didn't think so. In this video, we're going to talk about the wonderful world of JCL and SDSF. JCL is the syntax used in a batch job or in a proc. We're not going to worry about procs so much in this video. JCL tells the system what program to execute, what's going to be used as input, and what's going to be the resulting output. Job provides a job name to the system for the batch processing to be done. Exec provides the name of the program to execute. DD specifies the inputs and outputs in regards to the program on the exec statement.
Let's take a look at each of these JCL statements in an actual batch job. I'm going to go to one of my PDSs and edit this member. This is a simple job I've put together. All of this is JCL. Notice the slashes in columns 1 and 2. These are necessary. You need these in every line you expect to use in the job. 2 slashes with nothing else signals the end of the JCL. If I was to put just 2 slashes here, any JCL below would not be read. Here's the job statement, also known as the job card. It's going to associate the name LDARP1X as the name of this batch processing workload. All the rest is accounting information or job statement parameters, which we'll talk about in a minute. Here's the exec statement. It's executing the IEB copy program. You can have multiple exec statements in the same job. Each would be called a job step. Lastly, here are a few DD statements. Obviously, you can have several of these in the same job as well. One is providing the input dataset name, while the other is providing the output dataset name. This last DD statement is used to direct a log of the IEB copy program's control statements and actions somewhere. In this case, it's going to sysout equals asterisk, which will write it to the spool. We'd then be able to view it in SDSF.
Each of these 3 JCL statements have their own optional parameters.
Looking at this same job, on the job statement you see several optional parameters. Here's one called notify. This requests that the system sends a message to the user when the job completes. It's common to use your own TSO ID for this, so you're notified when the job completes. Exec only has a few optional parameters. Here you see that none are being used. We'll see an example of an exec optional parameter shortly. On the DD statements, DSName specifies the dataset name, easy enough. Disp is the dataset disposition. For example, does the dataset need to be created? Does it already exist? Can the dataset be shared by more than one job at the same time?
The first thing we need in order to create this program that's going to find our Garbage Pail Kid's name is a list of all the Garbage Pail Kids names ever created. Using PDF versions of the Garbage Pail Kids checklist that I found online, I copy and pasted them all into a single text file. Let's look at some of the JCL I've written so we can import this raw list of Garbage Pail Kids names.
The job statement is similar to the one we saw in the previous example. I usually use the same job card over and over. On the exec statement, you see we are executing the FTP program, and here is an exec optional parameter called parm, which means parm is going to be a parameter specific to the FTP program. Exit equals 12 is a standard IBM parameter that tells the FTP program to set a condition code of 12 in this exec statement, or job step, if there is an error detected. Here's the same sysprint DD statement we just saw. This will write a log of the FTP program's control statements and actions to the spool in this case. Sysinddd asterisk signals an in-stream dataset. These are fairly common. Here the in-stream dataset is a series of FTP commands. Here it's going to get the GPK raw list text file and transfer it to the mainframe with the dataset name ldarp1.gpk.list.
Once the job is submitted, you can use SDSF to view the job running if it hasn't finished too quickly, and to see its output. SDSF is an option within ISPF. Along with viewing your job's output to see how it did, you can also use SDSF to view the system log as well as job output, enter system commands, or control job processing and monitor jobs while they're running.
To view the job output from the first batch job we looked at, the one using the IB copy program, we'll go to SDSF and enter an H for the held queue. And there it is, LDARP1X. We can select it. And this was a small job, so there's not much output.
We touched on a few of SDSF's main uses, and most importantly, we now have a raw list of all the garbage pail kit names. Be sure to watch my next mainframe video tutorial on ISPF. We'll be using the power of ISPF's editor to format that list into something we can parse a little easier.